Welcome, everyone. I'm really excited to be here with you. Thank you for taking your time. I want to congratulate you for being here, whether if it's live or you're watching the recording. It takes time out of your busy life to just like be here with me. So thank you, and I want to welcome you. I want to. I want you to feel like here comfortable in this space. Feel free to ask me questions. Normally I leave with peace at the end for questions, but if you want to raise your hand, or if you are again watching the replay, feel free to send me a message and I will answer. uh, I'll do my best to answer the questions. I'm going to talk a little bit about who I am. My name is Marilu Tapia. I am originally from Mexico, and I moved to Canada like 12 years ago. And back then, if you tell me, if you told me something about crystals, I would say, I don't want to hear anything about them. Like, that's a big no no. I consider them more into when I was thinking about them as more like woo woo side. I was considering them part of like witchery, or yeah, just like I didn't feel comfortable at all. Uh, and definitely with the time when I started, like through the days, I just started like reading a little bit more information about Reiki, about how energies, like more like the physic aspect of energies, the physical aspect of energies. Then I discovered that they have so much um, to teach us, and so much to like say without words. And I just became like one by one, like buying one, using it, buying more, using it, and noticing the difference, uh, and how well they were doing. Also, the intent of this course is for you to learn how to use them, for your benefit, the best way. Um, Again, I'm a Reiki master. I am a Akashic record reader, crystal therapy, um, a practitioner, and also a teacher. I've been teaching about crystals for about 2 years, and also a tarot reader and life coach. But I practice more like spiritual um, coaching rather than the life coach. But anyways, this is just a little bit about me, and I am the creator of Good Growth, and again, it has a coaching side and also has like this energy part that, yeah, is part of me. This is how I feel that I'm improving my life day after day. And yeah, again, so excited you're here. Enough about me. Let's go to the crystal part. And yeah, let me tell you, crystals, like they have been like worked by medicine people and shamans in different civilizations, like the Olmecs, uh, the Mayas, Chinese medicine, um, like the Egyptians. They have a lot of tombs that they discovered how they were using them not only for jewelry. Uh, the Roman Empire also had, back on the days, like they when they found the ruins, and the anthropologists, they started like discovering how this people in the past, they also use them, but not only for, as I said, jewelry or makeup, for beauty, but they were used giving them also a deeper meaning into healing or manifesting or um, power. Like, just they were definitely using them as tools. And yeah, even the Bible, and not only the Christian Bible, but the, the, the Quran, or yeah, like it's amazing how they've used them in different civilizations. So um, I'm so glad to know, like, it's not something new. It seems like now we're going back to the old ways of like using more natural ways to look for balance and healing. Um, so okay, how did they form? Like, crystals, and by the way, they're like different terms that during this course I'm gonna be inter like changing one from another. And if a geologist probably like hears me, probably they're gonna say like, oh, that's incorrect. But in a more colloquial way, we just like mix them. One is like whether if it's a crystal, the other one it would be a stone, right? Or quartz. And all of them are different. And like, for example, quartz is a type of crystal, right? But not of all crystals are quartz. And stones, they are more like mineral, like, but yet all of them are just used in terms of like normal living day. That all the terms I've used um, mixed. And okay, going back to how did they form? Pretty much there are like three ways plus one. Three ways. Like the first one, it would be through the magma. Like, let's put it this way: like the air, going back to thousands and thousands of years, the earth started um, heating and causing a lot of magma. And that magma, right, like that melted, really hot mass, it started like going from the deep inside of the air, erupted. And then what happened is that it will solidify. And at the same time of it was like pouring down the volcanoes, that energy, it would actually melt and combine with other minerals, but they were on the surface. So some of them, as an example, um, it would be sapphire or ruby. That they are very solid. Also, every crystal or rock or stone, it will have um, level of hardness. And of course, that depends on how they were created, right? Like diamond, it has a hardness. The hardness level is higher than another type of crystal, such as varite, like this guy, right? Like this, I can barely, like, I have to touch it like very delicately, otherwise it will just like crumble. And that also depends of how they were formed, and of course the minerals that are is formed with. Also, this methods that I'm going to be talking about also determine how they look, whether if the color is very vivid. Have you seen those amethysts? I only have the tumble over here. Oopsie, sorry. I only have the tumble right here. But have you noticed like some of them are very purple, like a light purple, and some of them are very like dark purple, like beautiful. And like the color, it depends as well, different aspects. One of them, it would be um noticing like the content of iron. I'm talking specifically on amethyst, but of course for different stones it might vary. The content of iron, and of course the amount of years that it was kept inside. uh, this is not an amethyst, but it's a citrine. Oh, right there. And if I was like looking out the maybe if I was just like out there like mining a stone, the only thing I would see outside it would be something like this. So the geologists, what they do is just like dig and open and crack these stones, and then what they find inside is its beauties. This is a natural citrine. A really sorry, it's not a natural citrine, it's a raw citrine. And what I mean by it's not a natural citrine is because in the past this was an amethyst, but it was like heat treated and it became a citrine. So going back to how they were formed, diamond and peridot are actually found for like like deeper into the earth, and they definitely like took longer for a longer period of time to become those beauties. That's another concept why crystals have different prices, because some of them it will be more difficult to find, and some of them it will be harder to find. And in terms of them, the amount of work that it takes to dig and to get access to them, and the other part would be how much we have available, if I'm making sense. So the second part or way method, it is sedimentary rocks. So again, this includes climates in how like the different like the cycle of um life, I call it, right? How like sometimes we pass through, no, sometimes all the time, I'm sorry, how we pass through all of the seasons and different temperatures, like. And then if they were maybe on top of a mountain, how like they start just like transporting and the position maybe through close to a water space, like pond or maybe the ocean, and that material and start like sedimenting, and through the water, like through the raining and the cavities inside the earth and the soil, start just like sedimenting and causing combining with different yeah, with different elements and minerals. So definitely boreal high temperatures and pressures. Yeah, they will. An example that I can give you is an opal and malachite, where you can really see how the like layers of them. I'll show you one. Right here, I have a malachite. And this, can you see? It looks like painting. And over here, I do have, this is a Kambaba jasper. So you can see like dots and spots. Again, because they were settling down. Um, Third time, it will be a metamorphic rock, which is a combination of both, such as like tanzanite or sapphire. Uh, yeah, those mixes of like two methods I mentioned. And the last one is when they are created in a lab, how these guys, like, they're, a lot of people have discussions whether if it's good or bad that they're not 100% naturally formed. And in my opinion, it has its pros and cons, because well, they still have the same elements, the same composition. It's just like in a certain point, we are, when we take them naturally, we're mining the earth. And then, like, right now, I know it's more like control, because we have to really check if they're ethically sourced. And with lab made ones, like, you we were in a, like, mining the earth, that we weren't exposing any unethical situations, because they are more control based, right? So whether is I would say it's a personal choice whether if you can use it or not. Just to give you an example, some of the, like, bismuth is one that is created in a lab. And if you I don't have any right here, but it looks like a city, like rainbow looking, like it looks like metal city. And a lot of the angel aura ones are also created in a lab. um, Again, why not? Why not? um, and then if we go to how do crystals work, again, any question that you have, you can just email me or send me your question. So, how do crystal work? Uh, it will be the same concept into how, like, why we feel better when we go into nature, right? This is like scientifically proved that they actually, when we are into a more like a busier environment, such as places where, like, offices with a lot of Wi-Fi, with a lot of uh, movement in that aspect, like electronic devices, electromagnetic field, like those, our body tends to stress more. And yeah, like the physiologically our body changes, but for elevating more, like oxytocin, which are uh, the result of the oxytocin is like inflammatory uh, aspects. So as for the contrary, if we go to places that are like natural, where we have direct contact with trees, with grass, with, yeah, just like nature, uh, our body does the opposite. So it tends to relax. It tends to just come back to our peaceful state. So what crystal? Let me just pass one slide because I do have some good info about. So the reason that I have a lighter right there is because uh, the crystals, they do have different properties. Like depending, not all of them, but depending of the type of crystal, some of them, they have one property that is called piezoelectric, which is causing energy, like when we apply mechanic energy, it will cause different energy. So the lighter has a mini crystal right there. I never will guess this until I started doing my research, because I was so used to using the lighter, right? Since I was a kid. But the friction, the mechanical like energy that we apply when you try to light that lighter is causing that like mix of energy that mutates the energy into something visible. So another type of example that I can give you is your phone. Your phone uses the same, and also credit cards, and now like technologies on screen, they use the sensory. Our body can send energy into, like they conduct the energy into from us into the tablets that are inside our phones, and they conduct that energy. So they have the property of conducting energy. So in this case, we want them to conduct positive energy. We don't want them to conduct, right, like the stress of the electromagnetic field. So that's why something that I can advise you, like if you have crystals, don't have them close to the TV or close to your computer, because many of them are also amplifiers, like this guy, like the clear quartz, they amplify the energy. So make sure that you put them close, like you have a plan, put them closer so they will amplify the positive energy that our body needs. Okay, also, crystals are a tool and a voltage increaser. So what this means, oh, okay, no problem. In this case, the voltage increaser, it will be the same, because there is a term that is called entropy, and syntropy. The first one represents like our every organ in our body has regular vibration, right? Our heart has its own beats, and if you go to the lungs, it will have their own electromagnetic pulse, and that we're not consciously aware, but that's how actually our cells function, because they are sending through the nerves the electric information. So this, what happens with the crystals is that they balance when our body are out of range. Again, we're very easily go from entropy, which is order, to syntropy, which is entropy, which is disorder. We tend to just with a thought, we tend to go back to stress and panic and trying to fight or flight or freeze, right? So they have the ability to just entrain our energy and bring it back to the peaceful states, as I mentioned earlier. And I won't go into the detail because I will take again the full hour, but there are many doctors and studies that have been done in how our cells inside, they have the ability to open to receive certain energy, like outside energy. And when the crystals
are close, like when we have close a crystal, they resonate because our inside ourselves there is a crystal-like system that start like again balancing our being. That's why, like translated in more colloquial words, crystals can help to release pain. Crystals can help to recover faster. And crystal can, as I uh, repeated multiple times, they can help to just like release that stress that sometimes just builds up and builds up um, in our body. This is what I mentioned earlier too, that every matter has its own vibration. Like the desk has its own vibration, and everything that we see and we don't see, including that what we call empty space, it has a vibration, and because of that, there is a resonance. So the entropy stands for molecular disorder. Some of the and the syntropy, it will be the opposite. Again, crystals always stay on syntropy. Like, and a clear proof of this is that if you look again through a microscope, a minimal structure, it will never change. It always will be, like, for example, for this clear quartz, it will always be the same, the silica component on it, and the structure in the atom, which is the hexagonal shape, always is going to be the same, never changes. If that ever happens, it will become something else. So far, like, we're good right here, Sarah? Yeah? Okay. And okay, I would like you to give me some feedback on in terms or ideas in terms of like if you know what are the effects of entropy in the human body. So just to give you an example, one of them is it will be aging. Like the reason why we age faster is because our cells just like get out of order. And of course, like cancer specifically will be one of them because the cells started like reproducing in a different order. Not if the cells always reproduce and they copy the code and they to be exactly the same. So when cancer happens, it's because entropy occur within our cells. Do you have any more ideas, or you want me to just keep tossing more ideas? Yeah, perfect. Definitely. Well, of course, like stress, it will be like the major umbrella, but under that umbrella is definitely autoimmune system disorders, like anything that we can think about, um, like stomach disorders and feeling like lack of sleep. Those are big ones right now. But again, in a normal daily work, it's just like feeling that we go to sleep but we don't rest, that we start feeling restless pretty much. Yeah, that's what happens. And okay, before, I know I went like a little bit fast because I wanted to get some more insights for tomorrow's class, but um, in an, is there anything you would like me to go back and explain a little bit more before I ask this question?
Yeah, I think maybe just a little bit more about entropy, what we were just talking about. I feel like I understand like the how crystals are made, the creation of crystals, and like how we use them, but maybe just a little more of the why.
The why. Perfect. Um, so pretty much, um, why using crystals instead of something else? So they are a tool, and I'm gonna go into like how like doctors describe that our cells are. They are actually like a crystal like liquid, like close um, living being, and it has information. Like a cell, pretty much what it is a living body like connecting with information, so it can encode whether if it's a cell from your liver or is a cell from your heart or like its particular function. So when entropy comes, and I'm gonna ask you to imagine like if this is a two lines, one vertical, one horizontal, and one of them represents the altitude of uh, energy. So amplitude, sorry, it would be how like the energy of a cell or anything, all matter, goes up and down. And the longitude, it would be how, of course, how long the length of that wave. So meaning like if you have a bead, I was looking for my singing bowl, but it's too far. Like if you have a bead on one of them, it would be beep, 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 beep. And that's how constant that matter sends the impulse. And the other one would be how strong it is. So it's not the same beep, 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 beep. So that would be like the amplitude. And the longitude is not the same beep, pause, beep. Okay, so going back to our bodies, when every cell, as I said before, has its own oscillated rate, comes to entropy. So it doesn't know how to send the information to our brain, to our like different organs to do their function. So we start kind of getting like stuck in traffic for information. So we start getting inflammation. That's the first sign. Like that's the very first sign. Because it would be like probably we won't notice until it gets like multiple times and gets worse. So with the stress, and again, with the stress, our body gets out of balance, and using the crystals, because that resonance, it would be like a magnet light. Like that's the best example I can give you. Like when you use a magnet, it start even either pulling or pushing the energy. So in this case, your body, what it would do is just start pulling into that harmony. So that's why we feel definitely more a sense of well-being when we use the crystals when applied to our body. And this is again a tool. Crystals are not something that are going to replace regular medicine or other. It's just to add to what we're using already. Why? Because it amplifies. That's also one of the benefits of these beauties. Like they amplify the good energy close to us. That's why they have the ability, when you put them in a room, to change the atmosphere in a room. Another example of how also that what I mentioned about amplitude and longitude is, have you noticed, like especially hospitals or um, funeral houses, they do have some sort of, I don't know, like heavy-hearted energy, like, and so it's because of that, like the energy that is in there, it was just packed with a lot of that disorder of energy. And using the crystals, if you bring the crystal with you, would just help you to return back like to the calm and ordered state. So your body is going to flush faster that stress. Know that we don't live life. Of course we stress. Of course we're going to be at a certain point lose our balance, but it helps you to just like go back to center. I've definitely noticed, especially once you get to know a little bit more of it's one of them in specific, you know which ones are gonna give you more energy, or if you're low on energy, or some of them communicate better, or um, or for pain like copper. And is because something else that I didn't mention is depending of the minerals that are into the crystal is what is going to help you with. And something that I didn't mention, and it's very important, is because inside, it is said that inside our body, we have like, the elements, periodic, like when you have the list of the elements like ever in the world, our body, even if it's just like the smallest amount, but we do have that, all of the elements. And looking through a microscope, crystals are pretty much minerals and elements inside. So it's kind of like we're giving the body what is made of. That's another reason why crystal work. Did I did I like answer the question?
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense to me now. Thank you.
Yeah. And I like to emphasize more the science-based big part, because as I said in the beginning, I was very skeptic, and anything that has energies, just the word itself to me will sound like magic or witchery, or which I don't judge. I'm going to say it's right or wrong, but again, in my mind, back then, that would be like a big no. So uh yes, yeah, like Sarah says, are there specific crystals for different healing and organ parts of the body? Yes, like in specific, like I can talk about the clear quartz. Clear quartz is an amplifier. So what it means is that it brings heart and lungs perfect. It means that it's gonna bring its balance in general, and bring like lightness in the room, in yourself. If it's heart and lungs, because by the way, this we're gonna talk about on Wednesday. I'm gonna talk about the centers, the chakra system, which is the energy centers. So heart and lungs represent the heart chakra, and it also is linked to the thymus and all the organs that are nearby, heart and lungs. So I recommend rose quartz. I recommend, I don't know if you're familiar with them, but I have them. Just to give you an example, rose quartz, and green aventurine. Like these are raw forms, but it doesn't matter whether if it's polished, right, or raw. But these two are great for heart and lungs. Rose quartz, it helps people that have like breast cancer or lung cancer to recover, to heal faster, right? Like people that are going through like chemotherapy, it helps again to restore the cells faster. So any pink and green crystals, it will work for heart and lungs. Again, because chromotherapy and also because of the properties of these crystals. Yeah, and how to use them. So you can physically put them over the heart, or close to in the chest area, or you can just carry them on your pocket, like something like this would be bigger. But of course, like if you have the ones that I normally carry will be something like this, something smaller. You can carry on the pocket. Sometimes I do have like some pouch, and right, like you can just I bring them in my purse, or you can put them. I recommend keeping them in like in a pouch or organza bag under the pillow. In this case, because both of them will help you to like the heart, and they're good for restoring sleeping. It's not a problem if you put them in your bedroom or under the pillow. Like something else like citrine or vanadide, I won't recommend like bringing them into your bedroom, because it will you up. So you don't want that. You want something like more relaxing. And definitely there's more for heart and lungs, but like those would be like great ones. You can go wrong, and the energy of both. Just green aventurine, it has the ability to bring and restore overall health. So it's a great one for optimizing your health in general. Yeah. So for any other question about like this crystals? Okay, great. So for tomorrow, where we're gonna bring, if you have any more questions, bring them in, and if you have any crystals as well, bring some with you. We can just like chat about them. And tomorrow we're gonna dig more into whether like if they need cleansing or not, and how, right? There are different methods, and how often. I worked with the crystals with many years, and at the beginning, like I didn't want anybody to touch the crystals because I thought that would be contaminating the crystal. But then with the time, and then again, as I learned more and more about them, they're very stable. Like this, unless you use them a lot, then they will need that recalibration to go back to that harmony. But I think that sometimes a lot of people brings a lot of like makes a big deal out of like touching the crystals, or being like, for example, like black crystals, which are normally for protection, especially black obsidian. Just as I give you an example, I mean, This one absorbs negative energy. And again, it's something that you need to be cleansing all the time, and how. So this definitely is going to, tomorrow we're going to answer those questions. And yeah, again, I'm going to post this recording, like the first part. My apologies, I had some technical issues. So I'm gonna record it on my own and then post it as one. So thank you for being so patient, Sarah. Yeah, any other questions? Just gonna stop the share. Sandra, any other questions about the good. Okay. Find you're welcome. And also part of the announcements, and tomorrow I mentioned what we're gonna see. On Friday, we're also gonna check on those energy centers. What I'm gonna ask in advance, because it's a lot of information, is to go through that chakra slides, like just read them. And because for the chakras, since they are energy centers in different parts of our body, like there's many, but we're just gonna focus on the 7 chakras system. And all of them, whether they're balanced or unbalanced, they will have different symptoms. So we're gonna learn how do we know like that is unbalanced. And I'm definitely gonna recommend you some crystals to do that balancing. And again, go to your own pace, but if you have the time, it would be awesome if you go over as well the document that is the 9 crystals, and just read about like the information as well, like what they can help you with. And we're going to discuss like bring tomorrow your questions. I'm pretty sure by tomorrow we're just going to have more and more ideas. Okay. Thank you again. And I know today we finished a little bit earlier, but tomorrow definitely is going to be full of information. So we're just going to start on time. Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. This was so great to start with.
Thank you so much. I'm again, believe me, it's gonna get better and better. Like, because the information that is coming tomorrow, and especially like Friday, like I'm very hands-on, so I'm gonna ask you guys to start like practicing. Right. By the way, do you have any crystals? Like, do you own any crystals?
I have lots.
Okay, great.
They're all with me in this room. They're all around me.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. Okay, beautiful. So that means that you're going to be able to use the crystals, because what I want first of all, like what I'm aiming for this course is, I worked many years in a crystal store, and I was feeling frustrated because when I was trying to help people when they were asking for a specific crystal or problem to solve, I only have like this amount of time to tell them, oh yeah, like example, for the lungs and heart, oh yeah, rose quartz and green aventurine, that's it, because I had to go to another customer or church or whatever. So I didn't have the time to tell them, hey, like crystals help you with this way, or how to properly like care for them. And so this idea came out of that frustration of mine, like not having the time to really explain more about them and how we can definitely excel the beauty they are and how they help us. Like literally my life is changed so much since I've using crystals. And something else is that I've seen the benefit of the crystals, like when I use them in other people too, like for healing or just for overall good. So that's why. So what I was gonna say is that, going back to my initial thought, is that what I'm aiming into this course is that you can use the crystals you own at your best, and they you take advantage of them, because they're here to help us, and they've helped like since many years to humanity. So why not? That they are now reappearing, that we are kind of like looking more into the natural ways rather than the artificial ways. So that's why. So bring your crystals, check the list. Like if you can read the information about the chakras, awesome. If not, don't worry. But I'm looking forward for you to just like share your experiences once you apply. Okay, so thank you so much. Very nice to meet you, and see you tomorrow. Okay,
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. I'll see you tomorrow.
thank you. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.